In a lucid dream, you become the writer, the producer, the director, and the main actor in an Academy Award-winning production of your own boundless imagination. You can script the wildest adventure or the most erotic encounter, all in the privacy of your own mind. If you want to fulfill your wildest fantasies, lucid dreaming is for you. Fewer people know about the vast natural resources that remain untapped in the darkness of the night, where darkness here becomes a virtual code word for the unconscious mind. With lucid dreaming, you have the opportunity to hack into this unconscious mind with full awareness and to begin to transform it. Why do dreams, even just one dream, have that kind of shape-shifting power? It's because you're working with the deepest strata, the deepest bandwidth of your being. That's what makes it so profoundly effective. Everything you do on the surface of your life is dictated by the roots of your life. It really controls, whether we know it or not, our belief systems, which are lodged down there, control almost everything we do. So when you're working with this practice, unlike hypnotherapy, which is about the only other discipline that can go so directly into the unconscious mind, this particular practice, which anybody can learn, brings you face to face. The conscious mind faces the unconscious mind directly. That's why it's sometimes referred to as a hybrid state. The minute that type of relationship is established, instead of waiting for everything to splurge up and manifest the way it normally does, all of a sudden you're taking control, becoming lucid to, conscious of processes that were otherwise controlling and dictating your life. And that's no small thing. The fancy word is called wake-centricity. Wake-centricity is egocentric. It's all about operating from this highly limited point of view, which most of us do. Egocentricity is fully online and operational in the waking state. When you start to drop deeper into the nature of your own mind, in fact, some researchers have said this, the farther down the rabbit hole you go, the more collective the experience becomes. So once you start to drop away from this constricted, limited daytime thing, which most of us feel is like, oh, is there any other way? Yes, there is. You start to become more kind of connected and related to others. It's been scientifically proven. Hundreds of articles have been coming out. The benefits are off the charts. It's astounding what's available to us. And it's been our legacy, our heritage from the beginning of our entire lives. We're just not trained how to access it. We're not taught how to dream, let alone sleep properly. There are countless reports of lucid dreamers being affected for an entire week by one lucid dream. And in fact, Stephen LaBerge, the father of modern lucid dreaming in the West, writes, people often consider the lucid dreams as among the most wonderful experiences of their lives. Studies at the Utrecht University in the Netherlands have shown that lucid dreams can help resolve or completely remove nightmares. Some of the practices around lucid dreaming can also help with insomnia, which about 60 million people in the U.S. alone suffer from. If you're suffering from a disease, you can dream a perfectly healthy dream body and enjoy it. Paraplegics can regain use of their limbs and enjoy activities impossible in waking life. The aged can become young again. Prisoners can temporarily break out of their incarcerations and enjoy freedoms otherwise unavailable. If you're a meditator or spiritual practitioner, lucid dreams can accelerate your spiritual evolution. Lucid dreams can be used to rehearse presentations and to therefore reduce anxiety and increase confidence. Jack Nicklaus, for example, famously improved his golf game through a lucid dream. A pianist could practice in their lucid dream and reap the same benefits as if they were practicing on a real piano. The legendary pianist Arthur Rubinstein was able to mentally practice a piece he had never performed and then perform it without further rehearsal. Lucid dreaming is unlimited in its scope and applicability, almost miraculous, because the power of the unrestrained mind is unlimited and almost miraculous. And research has shown that the virtual reality of a dream is even more effective than mere imagination in creating neural connections in the absence of physical movement. That's an astounding claim. What's truly remarkable about lucid dreaming, therefore, is that the physiological effects on your brain and your body of the activities you perform in a lucid dream are virtually identical to the effects actually done in waking life. In other words, and this is amazing, dreaming of doing it is neurologically equivalent to actually doing about it. Think about that. For example, when you sing in a lucid dream, your right hemisphere is activated, just as if you were actually singing. If you do a math problem in your lucid dream, the left hemisphere is activated, just as in daily life. If you join this fact with the tenets of neuroplasticity, which is the recent revolution in neuroscience, that what you do with your mind changes your brain, you can now see the incredible potential of lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming can train your mind and your body. It really is like adding a night shift to your life. A study in the Journal of Sports Science suggests that lucid dreaming can be used to help athletes enhance their performance. In other words, physical skills in waking life can be improved by practicing those skills in a lucid dream. Kelly Buckley, who's a Ph.D. dream researcher, offers 4 far-reaching implications. 1. Lucid dreaming could provide a safe arena in which high-performance athletes can practice dangerous and risky routines, develop skills at the farthest reaches of their abilities. 2. Lucid dreaming could provide injured athletes an opportunity to continue training and skill building their techniques during their rehabilitation. 3. It could enable underprivileged athletes to engage in effective practice of their sports, even if they have limited access to physical facilities. And finally, lucid dreaming could give athletes at all levels a powerful psychological means of focusing their minds for optimal game day performance. When you're in the dream state, there's no longer external sensory distraction or input. Your dream, and this is really what, very interestingly, what defines a non-lucid dream, your dream becomes your reality. So this is why people can be so profoundly affected by what happens in their dream state. We've all probably had incredibly erotic dreams where you actually climax in the dream. Your body then climaxes. So that alone is an indicator of what you're doing with your dream body is going to affect your physical body. Lucid dreaming has the potential to help with healing, because once again, what you do with your dream body has an effect on your physical body. This is why your physical body can have an orgasm when your dream body does. Guided imagery is often used to facilitate healing, as the cancer work of Dr. Carl Simonton and his guided imagery practices really reaches its apex. But the transformative power of imagery is proportional to its experiential reality, and there is nothing more experientially real than a vivid dream. Artists, musicians, writers, innovators are increasingly using lucid dreams to enhance their creativity. Much of our creativity bubbles up from the vast reservoirs of the unconscious mind, and in a lucid dream, we become conscious in the unconscious. We're face to face with the source of our creativity. In a lucid dream, you're creating an entire landscape, or in this case, mindscape, that's almost godlike in its creative potential. Lucid dreaming is like a three-dimensional holodeck where you can try out all sorts of designs and even experiments. In addition, dream researcher Claire Johnson, who's a Ph.D. in this field, writes, sensations in lucid dreams which surpass waking life experience could help artists, writers, and scientists to overcome creative obstacles. So not only can lucid dreams enhance creativity, they can remove the blockages that prevent it. Lucid dreaming has also been shown to enhance problem-solving abilities, which often takes place when we step back from a problem, perceive it in a new light, and therefore see things others don't see. We often can't solve a problem because we're just too darn close to it, too involved, just like with a non-lucid dream. But lucidity allows us to step back away and see things we haven't seen before. This sense of new perspective is the essence of transforming a non-lucid dream into a lucid one. And once again, Claire Johnson, the expert, says, lucid dreaming creativity likely does not stop when we wake up, but leaves its traces in our waking brain, thereby enhancing our everyday problem-solving skills, artistic courage, and creative thought processes. In the business world, think about it. This can be used to help you get an edge on your competition. As we start to go up the ladder of benefits, lucid dreaming can be used for self-integration and psychological growth. There are countless reports of people using lucid dreams as a preparation for death, which allows them to remove the fear around that painful transition. One woman in the last year of her life reported 160 lucid dreams and said, "These dreams teach me how to die." Parenthetically, in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, dream yoga, which builds on lucid dreaming, came about principally as a way to prepare for end of life. In a related vein, lucid dreams can be used to help with grief, to clean up unfinished interpersonal business, and to resolve conflicts with others, even those who have died. Because while death is the end of a physical body, it's not the end of a relationship. In a lucid dream, the person may not be there physically, but they are there phenomenally. In other words, they appear to you. And as the eminent lucid dreaming scientist Stephen LaBerge asserts, that's enough. Because when you get down to it, the issues with others are all about how you relate to others, not the physical person themselves. So the phenomenal appearance, the mere appearance, not their physical appearance, is enough to help you resolve that relationship. And in my own experience, I've often used lucid dreams in this way to help me release relationships that may have needed to be released and really work with situations that I really couldn't otherwise. At the very highest levels, lucid dreaming is the platform for the nocturnal practices of dream yoga and sleep yoga, which is when it steps clearly into the spiritual domain and the nearly boundless opportunities for transformation. Even Stephen LaBerge reports a powerful single lucid dream he had and says, "This one lucid dream gave me a new sense of identity. I felt as if I had discovered another form of being which my ordinary sense of self stood in relation as a drop of water to the sea." In Buddhism, of the three principal states of consciousness, waking, sleeping, and dreaming, the coarsest state, the one with the least potential for spiritual evolution, is the ordinary waking state. Because of its malleability, the dream state has more transformative potential. Once again, the meditations you do in a lucid dream are up to 9 times more effective than when done in waking life. You can also incubate lucid dreams to receive instructions from teachers, whether those instructions come from those teachers themselves or from deeper aspects of your own wisdom mind arising in the form of teachers. You can also become a surrogate lucid dreamer and receive dreams for others, which is also common in Tibetan Buddhism. And believe it or not, you can also purify karma in a lucid dream and prevent negative karma from coming to full maturation in the waking state, which is really an astounding claim. But as Buddhist scholar and the elite lucid dreamer Alan Wallace says, better to get rid of it in the dream state. In the Buddhist view of mind, karma often starts to ripen in the subtle dream state before it pops up into gross waking state, which means it can be dealt with at this more subtle level. In this regard, a sensitive subtle relationship to your dreams can literally save your life, because you're working with the blueprints of your experience before they become fully manifest and constructed in our everyday reality. In my opinion, lucid dreaming represents the education of the future. This is a trainable skill. It's like learning a language. Yes, it takes a little bit of time and effort. One of the biggest issues is we're simply not trained in the West how to dream. And in fact, for the vast majority of the Western world, when we say something is a dream, it's a negative or pejorative, dismissive comment. Oh, it's just a dream. So therefore, the West tends to just dismiss this carte blanche. What we want to try to do is say, no, 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 no. If you're doing that, you are dismissing a profound opportunity for transformation. Don't do that. If you're given the proper tools that show you how to prepare to have lucid dreams during the day, you will start to develop lucidity at night. So if you work with meditation practices during the day and other skill sets that allow you to practice lucidity during the day, the natural consequence is you will start to develop lucidity at night, which is why countless studies have shown that meditators, you could say lucid practitioners, meditators have more lucid dreams. So you've got this incredible, what I call diurnal practice that you then bring into the nocturnal state. So you ramp it up at the end of the night with very specific, what I call lucid sleep off-ramp technique, where you kind of create the environment more conducive for lucidity. And then finally, you have the nighttime techniques themselves. At least a dozen very effective induction techniques that you start to engage with. Sooner or later, one of them will speak to you, and that's your ticket in. And then when you take refuge in that, you start to develop it, you start to strengthen it. Many other people can literally have lucid dreams at will. All of a sudden, it really is like night school or a night shift. We have to be careful and not over-market it, because it's something that can be trained, but the training part is integral. Some people are gifted, they have spontaneous lucid dreams. Other people need to be trained. If you engage in the techniques with a sense of humor, determination, and perseverance, these things simply start to happen. Just like learning how to play the piano happens if you practice, learning how to do anything happens if you practice. You don't have to have lucid dreams every night, even though it's great if you can. I'll show you how to do that. Powerful lucid dreams can affect an entire week, an entire month, an entire life. These things are so shape-shifting. Why? Because they're so foundational. Let me give you some instruction on how you can start to actually have these amazing dreams. I'd like to offer 2 things right now. The first, in many ways, most important thing, believe it or not, is strong motivation. You want to cultivate the intent to really have lucid dreams. The word intention itself comes from roots that means to stretch towards, and the idea is that you want to stretch waking consciousness into the dream state. So what I do throughout the day is recite out loud, which gives it more weight. Tonight, I'm going to have many dreams. I'm going to remember my dreams. I'm going to become lucid in my dreams. I don't just flap my lips. I put my heart into it. I really mean it. Then when I go to bed, I ramp it up, saying with as much resolution as I can, tonight, I'm going to have these dreams. I'm going to wake up in my dreams. I'm going to remember my dreams. I will become lucid. It's the same idea as having to get up without an alarm. If you really set the intention, it's as good as setting an actual alarm. Then you want to add some octane to your intent by adding some emotional charge, which also helps sustain your lucid dreams once you do become lucid. So say something like, I want to feel the exhilaration of flying in my lucid dream, to feel the wind blowing through my hair, to dive bomb towards the earth and then soar back up to the heavens. This is all part of good lucid sleep hygiene. which is about creating a proper on-ramp into lucidity. Most people go to sleep with dirty minds, so to speak, and just plop into bed after a long day. In the world of lucid dreaming, this is like going for a long, sweaty run and then dropping into bed without taking a shower. So here, you want to take a mental shower by honoring your sleep and dream, by valuing your lucid dreams, and by generating the intent to wake up in your dreams. To make sleep positive, marinate your sleep with positive intent and positive preparation. We all know what it's like to go to sleep stressed, which usually results in stressed out dreams. It's an intuitive idea. The last thought on your mental state before you fall asleep marinates your entire sleep. So you want to use that process to your advantage. In terms of classic sleep hygiene, it helps to step away from the computer, the TV, the iPhone at least a half hour before going to sleep. Otherwise, the light from those screens can interfere with the release of melatonin, the sleep hormone. Keep your room cool and dark. Then after reciting, I'm absolutely going to have lucid dreams tonight several times, just let everything go and relax into sleep with a peaceful, positive state of mind. The second thing is what to do during the night. We go through 4 to 5 sleep cycles every night. The first part of the night is devoted to deep restorative sleep, which is when we don't dream very much, so don't mess with that. As we get closer to the morning, we enter more REM sleep, which is when we dream the most. This is prime time dream time. It's around 2 hours before you normally wake up. So if you really want to have lucid dreams, studies have shown that waking up about 2 hours before normal sleep, before normal arising, waking and staying for a half an hour awake, then going back to sleep really primes you for lucid dreaming. During the half hour, you can read, meditate, reset your resolve. Don't check your phone. Don't go back to your computer, which would pull you too much into the waking state. This so-called wake and back to bed method technique has been shown to increase lucidity up to 2,000%, which is a 20-fold increase. I've used it countless times to trigger lucid dreams. It's also best, of course, when you can do this on weekends, when you can sleep in just a little bit. So let me summarize. Step 1, throughout the day, set the strong intent. Tonight, I will become lucid in my dreams. Step 2, set your alarm to go off 2 hours before you normally wake up. Step 3, settle your mind, prepare for good sleep. Step 4, gently but resolutely increase your intent when you lie down by adding some emotional charge. Step 5, let everything go and drop into peaceful sleep. Step 6, about 2 hours before you normally wake up, stay up, wake up, stay up for 30 minutes, and go back to sleep. The idea is not too tight, not too loose. You need to try to have lucid dreams, but not try too hard. It's like tuning a guitar. With a little practice, you'll find the sweet spot and tune your mind just right. And pardon the phrase, this is when you start to make some beautiful night music. So let's sit together for just a few seconds here. You can close your eyes for just a minute and just kind of witness what happens with your mind. I don't want to give too much instruction just yet. For a few seconds here, close your eyes and simply just watch. Don't try to do anything. No technique here. Don't alter anything. Just simply look at your mind for a few seconds. Now, if you're paying attention to your mind, what you will notice is that a thought arises, does it not? A thought, an image, a memory, an anticipation, doesn't matter. Something pops up into your mind, and before you know it, you're hooked by it. You're sucked into that content. Doesn't this happen all the time? A thought pops up about tomorrow's job or whatever, meeting, and before you know it, you're swept into that thought, you're sucked into it, and you've kind of lost it. That's non-lucidity. That's the same process that then brings about non-lucidity at night. So when we gave that introductory practice earlier, we're working with this process. We're starting to see how a non-lucid relationship to our mind is completely connected to a non-lucid relationship to our dreams. It's the same state, same effect taking place in two different states. And what lucid dreaming is all about fundamentally is increasing awareness. A lucid dream is an aware dream. And this is why this material for me is so profound, because what doesn't improve with more awareness? You become a better lover. You become a better worker. You're more able to relate to your children, to your life circumstance, because you're fully present for it. That's another way to talk about being lucid. This is really the secret of a rich, fulfilling life, an extraordinary life. It's really the secret of happiness itself. When you start to work with your mind in this dimension, it doesn't just stay relegated and tucked away in the night. You start to see that what you're working with in the arena of the dream will start to affect your life. So really the bullet point take-home message here for like, well, why should I do with this if the benefits alone aren't enough, is that lucid dreaming leads to lucid living. And what doesn't improve with that type of heightened awareness? I've been working with this for decades. It's almost like this pent-up anticipation for me to share some of the great wisdom that has been given to me that I now feel is really kind of ripe for much of the world to now participate in, because these great traditions have been talking about this for generations, for thousands of years. You supplement that with these incredible Western scientific tools, and I'm telling you, you have a broad spectrum approach to transforming not just your dream state, but everything you do in your life with these practices. So in the first week, I'm going to define lucid dreaming, show you how that's been scientifically proven. I'll give the gradations of lucidity going from kind of pre-lucid to hyper-lucid. I will show you some of the many benefits, which are really almost inconceivable. And then we end with a very practical daytime practice that I'm going to leave you with that we can start to extend throughout the entire program. In the second week, we start to dive in more deeply specifically, again, with further induction techniques, daytime and then nighttime. So we're going to work more with things like prospective memory, increasing dream recall through that type of memory, working with dream signs, all kinds of really sophisticated ways that you can use your daily life to help you work with lucid dreams. And the practices we leave you with on that second week are exactly just that. Little tidbits, little pearls that you can start to implement moment to moment that start to accrete, develop more momentum. In the third week, you transition more specifically into the nighttime practices themselves, the nighttime induction techniques, of which there are at least a dozen. And this is a really cool one for me because here's where I really unload not just the wisdom traditions from the East, but the very applicable scientific methods from the West. And it's this double-barreled approach that I find terribly exciting. I'll leave you in this particular module with practices that you can do every single night when you go to sleep. So you see the second and third are about conjoining daytime with the nighttime practices so that they both start to support each other. The fourth module is all the kind of tips and tricks around this. There's a whole battery of very sophisticated things. I have to say this time mostly from the West. Things to work with electronic gadgetry, dream masks, supplements. There's certain natural occurring supplements that you can take that are very effective, dream apps and that sort of thing. All the little tips and tricks that I can think of. The fifth module, we talk about some of the common obstacles that many people in my years of teaching this have to work with. Things like attaining lucidity, sustaining it, maintaining motivation, all kinds of subtle and not so subtle. And then, of course, in the last session, we wrap up the whole thing. I show you what we've accomplished. I start to put forth even further potentials behind the nighttime practices. I'll give you some sense of how lucid dreaming can evolve into dream yoga. And even though the theme of dream yoga, as you'll see, is woven into all the sections here, I really start talking about it. And then even a final practice after that, what's called sleep yoga. So altogether in the final practice, I summarize everything. I make sure we deeply understand where we've been. We resolve many of the issues. I've given you antidotes to your problems. And then I send you on your way with this incredible arsenal of skill sets, these wisdom tools from the East and West, that's going to pretty much give you everything you need to know to start having these lucid dreams and to show you yet again how far these practices can take you.